So recently I was just scrolling back through the videos that I had created throughout 2021, and first off the rank I had a year review, and I actually found it really valuable for myself to go back and have a look at that video in particular. So I'm going to do another one of those review videos, year review videos, and hopefully that still interests you guys as well. Previously I did start filming this video thinking that I would do it in bits and pieces, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use those ones or if I'm going to redo every single month here, but if it chops and changes a little bit, that's why, because I was trying to be organised and trying to stay on top of things, and as you will hear, the end of this year didn't quite go according to plan, so this video may end up coming out just a little bit later than I anticipated, and that's totally fine. Also in this video I'm going to throw in some of my equestrian notes on the year that was as well, because as much for myself again, and that seems to interest some of the viewers out there as well, so hopefully you guys are okay with me doing this like weird mishmash of like my music world and my equestrian world coming together in this one video to review the year that was 2021. Let's have a look. Multitasking, doing my part of my 2021 year review while the car warms up ready for another road trip. I feel like I'm always in the car. Right, so January. Highlights / major events in 2021 January. Was the first time I had a show postponed due to bushfires. They were very close to the family farm, so we had started evacuating. Luckily it didn't make it. We were all good, we were safe. Very fortunate, but that gig was still postponed. Not cancelled, postponed. That's kind of it on the music front for the most exciting things. It was kind of just a few regular gigs here and there. January was actually the first time that me and my horse Oz ever went jumping. We had gone to a Les Bunnings clinic in Henty, Dardanup, Western Australia, which was a show jumping day for dressage riders, and found out there that Oz really enjoys jumping and is actually quite good at it, and I was surprised that I could do it, because I was a little bit worried that my body wouldn't hold up very well to that kind of punishment nowadays with the injuries that I am nursing. But yeah, I pulled up better than I thought I would, so that kind of started us on our jumping journey, I guess you could say. In February, there wasn't much more to report. I felt like I had I think I had one event cancelled due to like event restrictions with all this COVID stuff, but I did still have a few shows through January that went ahead, and yeah, kept me busy. Welcome to the messy office and the continuation of me squeezing in my 2021 year review. So on to March. That was the first time in years that Russell actually got to come with me when I visited Esperance to do a run of shows. I think the last time he actually got to come with me was like 2015 at a guess. Like, it was a really long time ago anyway. I was playing at a little mini festival down there at Lucky Bay Brewery, which is one of his favourite breweries. That word is sometimes really hard to say. He's a bit of a beer snob, beer connoisseur, craft beer enthusiast, whichever way you want to say it. So he was stoked to come down there, and we got to go swimming, saw some dolphins and little stingrays and lots of wildlife, lots of time with friends, and some of my mates down there actually for the very first time getting to see that Russell does actually exist. He's not a figment of my imagination. And yeah, it was just a really nice time, and certainly felt very fortunate to be able to have him come with me for, yeah, once in a blue moon. March was also the first time that in my equestrian world, my other passion, that I got to do my first weekend away, and so far my only weekend away, with my horse Aussie. We went to an off-the-track clinic in Busselton and stayed overnight, and yeah, you know, he's done it before, handled it really well, we learnt a lot, it was good. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime when I actually get time to do these things. In April, I finally got to play the house concert that had been, or private concert that had been postponed due to the bushfires back in January. Finally got to go and perform that, which was lovely, and the weather was probably even better for it in April, so it was, you know, not quite so deadly heat-wise as it gets here in Australia. April, I also went and started looking for venue possibilities for the upcoming album tour, because I knew that I was dead set on releasing the album in 2021. And one of those venues that I went to was the Quill Collective in Vass, and me and a friend actually attended one of their concerts to see what it was like and how it ran and things like that. So that was a really beautiful evening with Lemon Myrtle and Mufasa on the lineup, and yeah, that was obviously a fantastic venue, and at that point I'm like, oh my god, this is magic. I hope that I get to play here, perform here. Yeah, so I was just on the hunt for finding the right venues ready for later in the year. The highlight of May was getting to gig with friends. I got to catch up and gig with a friend of mine, Jordan Mack. We've known each other for a very long time, back when he was a Freo guy. Now he lives over in Byron Bay. So he had come over for a run of shows, and I was so honoured that he'd asked me to open for some of them. Unfortunately, our Fremantle show was cancelled due to COVID restrictions yet again, but we had a show in Yallingup that was able to go ahead in a town hall there, the Yallingup Town Hall, and it was pretty magic. Mufasa was joining us for that one as well, so it was really cool for us to kind of cross paths again and have that really cool, beautiful night. Also on the same weekend, I got to do a gig with the Oceanique Girls again, and oh, actually, yes, look, I'm wearing one of their shirts actually. This is one of my faves. I love this colour. Yeah, so we got to play a gig together at Cave's house and do, you know, a little collaboration together and things like that, like we like to do. So that was cool. That was a highlight for me in May. And then in terms of the equestrian world, I actually got to go away camping for the weekend and strapping for, or as groom slash helper slash supportive friend for, yeah, my friend who was competing in the Henty Dressage Championships that weekend. It was so wet. I remember it being really wet. But she did so well. She's an incredible horsewoman and an incredible rider, and it was a great weekend and a great honour to be there helping her and get to see her shine. June was the first time ever that I've been a performer at the Festival of Voice in Denmark, which was really, really special. Have attended the festival before and been in the audience and soaked up the vibe on that side, but it was a great honour to be one of the artists, one of the performers, and feel the intimacy from that side of things as well. So that was really cool. And me and my hubby actually stayed in Albany afterwards for a few extra nights just to have a break and see Mama Kin and John Butler in concert there at the Albany Entertainment Centre. So Mama Kin had on stage with her daughter Banjo Lucia, Tilly Kay and Albert Gray as well, and they did just a stunning performance and also hilarious. Daniela's just, she's awesome. What a woman. And then to have that follow on with John Butler solo, and just, you guys know how much I idolise his work. It was just a really, really beautiful show to attend, and I felt very, very honoured that we got to afford to go to that kind of live music again. And then in the horse world, that was the first show jumping competition that Oz and I have ever been to. We were only competing in the training ring, and we just did 35 centimetre and 45 centimetre, but he was super and we had so much fun. So July looks a bit busier, so I might have to stick to my notes here. It was the first dressage training day that I'd taken my horse out to, so we did the, and for anyone who is equestrian out there, we did just a Prep C test and a Prelim 1B, and I was super proud of him. I really was. Like, he was able to, it's one of the first outings we had where he really calmed down, you know, straight away. As soon as we got to the venue, he didn't have all that anxiety that he had been getting going to different outings. It was also the first songwriting workshop that I've ever done. Scared the heck out of me, but was also really enjoyable. I did it with the Oceanique Girls, so it was slightly less terrifying. And we were asked to hold it at the Billy Dower Youth Centre in Mandurah. And it sounded like the feedback that we got was really, really positive, so I'm glad that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone to do that. August, I finally got my pedal board professionally built, you guys. And I still need to do a video on that of like the final product, but yeah, life ended up pretty chaotic at the end of the year, so I'm excusing myself. It will happen. But yeah, I got it professionally built by James Luscombe up in Perth, Western Australia, and he did a fantastic job. I'm just, every time I bring it out, I'm just so super stoked with not only how high functioning it is, but also how nicely presented it is. It's really ticks all my OCD boxes. And then towards the end of August, Freedom was released into the world. The last single leading into the release of the album. So that was really well received by radio stations all over Australia. The community radios really got behind it. It ended up number 3 on the AMRAP charts, regional charts as well, which was pretty cool to have another one up there at number 3. And yeah, go Freedom. September, things got real. So that was September 10th, the album Eyes Forward was finally released into the world. I'd been working on that album since 2018 was when I started recording. So with the album out in the world, the tour also started in September, including my first flight since March 2020. This one was just up to Broome to tour down the coastline with my beautiful friend Tanya Ransom. So yeah, I was back on the road, back touring. October, there continued a lot of touring, a lot. Like the whole promotional tour came in at just under 10,000 kilometres, so it was a pretty hefty couple of months, that's for sure. One of the highlights of October was the West Australian Guitar Festival Strings Attached. it was unreal. Just such an amazing reception from the audience. I actually didn't get to attend many things because my own schedule was really quite busy, and I didn't mind. Like, the bits and pieces that I did get to see is awesome. Like, it's a festival for not just guitar enthusiasts but music lovers of all kinds. So that was a really cool weekend to be part of. And throughout all of the touring and the chaos, I even managed to squeeze in one horsey outing, which was just to about an hour and a half away to go show jump training with a friend there in a private arena that we hired. So that was cool to kind of still keep us ticking over and doing something, and also give me a day to switch my brain off from my music business, because I do get quite wrapped up in the business side of things. And yeah, when I'm horse riding and when with my horses, I'm very, very present and in the moment. So I was just adding a little tiny touch of balance there by having one day out. And then on to November, and speaking of adding balance to life, I actually had a couple of days, weekend days, not weekends, but weekend days off, so that we could go to some friends' weddings. So we had 2 weddings in a month. It was really cool. And again, I'm really glad that I prioritised some time to just be somebody other than Tracy Barnett, the musician. So it's hard to let go of opportunities sometimes, but yeah, it was cool. So we did that, and the highlight was definitely the Blues at Bridgetown Festival. It was unreal. Like, the show, I'll put a little icon for the vlog for that one, because that weekend all the shows were just awesome, but there was one in particular that I still feel is one of the best shows of my career so far, and I'm still clinging to the feelings from that show to carry me through some more troubling times and things like that. So yeah, Blues at Bridgetown 2021, what a festival. And again, in amongst all the toing and froing from some shows and some weddings and things like that, I also squeezed in another horsey outing, and I'm a member of the local Horse and Pony Club and one of their riders, and we had an end of year wind up gymkhana. So that was a lot of fun. My first go at doing novelties and things like that, which Oz was just great at. And yeah, just a really nice, fun day out to switch off for a bit. Now we come to December. So started off really, really great, you guys. The first weekend was like, talk about hit it with a bang, was up to the city for the Brew and Q Festival. Again, I'll pop another icon up for the vlog on that weekend. That was an awesome couple of days, and then I followed on with another show on the Sunday as I headed south at the Ravenswood Hotel. So that was a super weekend. And then I had a horse accident. My horse didn't do anything wrong. I was doing everything to try and keep us safe. We have a sandy area that I ride in when I'm not bush riding, and although I check it regularly and there was nothing to be seen prior to riding, a sinkhole had formed. Basically, I'm riding along, and then all of a sudden my horse couldn't get one of his front legs underneath him, and he came down, and as he came down, I somehow came down and landed head first, and then kind of flipped over myself. The horse, fortunately, Ozzy, is fine. He was very spooked. We've been dealing with some anxiety that he's had since, and he has had some muscle soreness and things like that, which I've got a body worker to help him with. But thankfully no major damage, which was really, really good. And for myself, I had to be carted through to Bunbury Emergency. I was cleared of all fractures in they were particularly worried about the cervical and thoracic spine, being my neck. When it initially happened and I did try to move to go and check on my horse, I wasn't actually able to hold, my neck wasn't able to hold my head up, and I had a lot of discomfort as well, so as you can imagine. So yeah, that meant that I had to cancel some shows. It also means that I'm not quite right. As much as I want to be completely back to normal. And like I said, like majority of stuff is just soft tissue, you know, discs and muscles and some nerve pinching and things like that. I had some numbness issues in my left hand. I guess the potential scariest thing is brain function. So I've had numerous concussions throughout my life. It is part of horse riding that you're going to fall off occasionally. Although my cognitive thought was quite good after the accident, as the days progressed, my memory I started to have issues with my short-term memory, and lots and lots of dizzy, nausea spells and things like that. It's all very, very common with brain trauma, but I guess the disappointing thing is I had a show on New Year's Eve, which was my last show of the year, strangely. Sorry, I've got to try and throw some humour in there now that we're talking about something serious. Yeah, I was taken by surprise that a lot of things that were pure instincts to me prior to the accident aren't. That's not saying that they won't be again. I'm still apparently in the early days of healing from this. I'm very, very impatient to be like right back to normal and things like that, because I'm upright and I'm walking and I'm talking and I'm doing all the things. But yeah, it's gonna be a challenge by it. It seems. I've always been fortunate enough that when I'm playing guitar or an instrument, then I just hear that and I just automatically sing. Like I don't have to think about being in pitch as such. Like if I'm working on harmony or something like that, then I do. But it's always just been second nature. And now I've got to concentrate really hard on pitch, really hard on where I am on the guitar, really hard on the lyrics. Everything is hard work again, which means that I can't just be in the moment and be super, which means that it kind of loses its passion and stuff as well. And if you can't tell, I'm just a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, it is what it is. The outcome of the accident certainly could have been a lot worse. My horse could have broken his leg. And I don't think I finished explaining about that when we investigated that hole that his leg had gone down, about this far, I guess you could say, below the ground. A tree root had rotted away and it just caused, basically he trod in just the right spot for it to just like give way, and for obviously the sides of the hole being a tree root were quite rigid, so he wasn't able to pull his leg out really quick and bring it back in front to keep himself upright. It's all been repaired now, and we have other plans as well for upgrading that area to try and make it even safer. Yeah, it was just a freak accident. I feel like this is getting way too serious now. That brings a conclusion to my 2021 year review. It's been a hard year for a lot of people, I know, and I hope that this video finds you and your loved ones safe, happy and healthy. And I would love to hear You know, one thing that you envisage for your 2022. Like, it doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution or anything like that. It could be like a small goal, like I want to get up every day and go for a walk before breakfast. Anything like that. I'd just be curious. Like, sometimes we can get like inspiration from each other by sharing these things. So if you don't mind, pop it in the comments below. I would love to hear just one thing that you want to try and do, or that you would like to see happen or manifest, or what you hope that can happen in 2022. Thank you so much for being so supportive, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, see ya. Just sit down, 'cause you know you're close. In a moment feeling tight. Maybe your dreams take flight. Be brave, my friends. Be bolder than the rest. Be scared into it anyway. 'Cause nothing comes easy, but it sure is worth the fight. Nothing comes easy, but it sure is worth the fight.